Johnny Depp has defeated Amber Heard in his defamation lawsuit, winning all three claims. This is giving people hope that when the corporate press publishes lies about us, there will be some accountability. For too long, we've seen the media just lie about anybody they don't like, pushing activism, smearing even the former president. But while this does give people some hope, alas, Johnny Depp's rich. Of course, he's going to be able to fight back and win. What about us regular people? Perhaps we are relegated to just living vicariously through Johnny Depp and experiencing catharsis in the form of his schadenfreude. But my friends, there is a real possibility that the times may be changing. Kyle Rittenhouse announces that the Covington lawyer is joining his team and they are actively targeting Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook for defamation. It's fantastic news. Kyle Rittenhouse says that he is emboldened by Johnny Depp's victory. And this is the moment we have all been waiting for. Every single lie that they published smearing Kyle Rittenhouse, we want accountability. With Nick Sandmann in the Covington kids, 'twas but a humble child standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, minding his own business, when a man came up and started beating a drum in his face. The media attacked the kid. I'd call him a victim, but all that happened is someone banged a drum in his face, probably uncomfortable, but he was not the aggressor in that circumstance, and the media went after him, doxing where he went to school, calling him out, smearing him, dragging him. And so, after this, he sued. He got a lawyer, a good one, and he's won many settlements. They tried arguing that Sandmann was an involuntary public figure, and thus a higher standard must be attained to actually sue. That is the public figure standard of actual malice or reckless disregard for the truth, which is insane. The idea that you could be minding your own business and someone films you, so all of a sudden you're a public figure? No. Absolutely not. The idea of the public figure standard in defamation lawsuits is that if I, Tim Pool, am engaging in public conversations to a highly visible degree, and you want to argue with me, it is more difficult to sue because we are basically yelling at each other, or we're yelling ideas and we are participating in public. Nick Sandmann didn't choose to do that. They will do anything to be able to lie, cheat, and steal. Kyle Rittenhouse announcing that the Sandmann lawyer has joined his team and they're going after Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. Tremendous news. You know what else is tremendous news? The Kyle Rittenhouse case not only exposed the activist media, it is causing them serious problems. I'd like to send you over to the Daily Beast, once a prestigious news outlet, highly praised by prominent individuals in New York media, now, but fake news, so saith NewsGuard. NewsGuard is a third-party certification agency that has downranked the Daily Beast for one simple reason. They lied about Kyle Rittenhouse, and for the most part, they didn't correct it. Only when they were called out did they start actually correcting some of the information, but for the most part, they didn't. The media lied left and right, up and down, every which way about Kyle Rittenhouse. And you know why I'm angry about this? They smeared me simply for reporting the truth. Kyle, good sir, I beg of you. Go after these organizations and bring us accountability, for we may not be able to defend ourselves, the average person. I shouldn't say we, because I certainly have the means to defend myself and my company. But for all of you regular people, we can only hope to live vicariously through people like you when you file these lawsuits and bring accountability. But it's not just living vicariously through these individuals. It's that the accountability that may come from people like Kyle Rittenhouse will result in these companies maybe realizing it's time to stop. Stop lying. Stop lying. We know you're lying. We can see you're lying. And we call upon heroes to challenge the system and call out the lies and bring it down. Which brings me to the first story. The Nick Sandmann lawyer joining Kyle Rittenhouse. You can see I'm particularly excited about this one, and I'll tell you why. It's because if there is one through line for all of the work that I do, it's that I despise the media because they lie all the time. I used to work at corporate press, worked for Vice, worked for Fusion, an ABC News company, and seeing what they've become, what these outlets have become, infuriates me. Now, I would just go on the ground and I would film stuff happening on the ground. And the activists have taken over. and the snakes have taken over. It's about time we held them to account. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse isn't alone in this because he's seeking donation from the public to fund his efforts. And through him, we might actually win. Let's take a look at this first story and see what's going on in the world of lawsuits and the fake news media, because we got a lot to call out. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com and become a member to help support our work. As a member, you'll get access to exclusive segments from the Timcast IRL podcast, and you will be supporting our journalists. Our journalists who do a good job, who report accurate information. I'd like to give a shout out to Elad Eliyahu, one of our field reporters. I mean, basically our only field reporter. We have a handful, but he's our main dude. And the thing about it is when he comes on Timcast IRL and we talk opinion, we argue. And I got really short with him. I do apologize for being so mean. But when we go at it opinion-wise, we don't get along. But Elad on the ground does not inject his opinions when he is reporting and seeking the thoughts of the people he is interviewing. He does a good job. We need to bring back real journalism, and that's what I care about. I do not care to have a Ferrari, some crazy infinity pool atop a skyscraper. I want this. I want your support so that we can hire more journalists and build up timcast.com to bring back real reporting, real documentaries. With your support, we will do it. So don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, share the show with your friends. And if you are unable to sign up at timcast.com for a humble $10 per month, there's something else you can do. Kyle Rittenhouse has the Media Accountability Project, and you can donate to him for direct support in that fight against the lying corporate press. Fox News reports Rittenhouse lawyer says he's confident there are 10 to 15 solid cases against large defendants. The lawyer who represented Covington Catholic student Nicholas Sandman during his defamation cases has joined Kyle Rittenhouse's legal team and says there will be at least 10 defamation lawsuits against prominent figures and companies for comments against the teenager. Bravo. They smeared me as right-wing and conservative and all of these things because I reported accurately what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse. Our predictions and our assessments were correct. He was found not guilty. We feared that it was a political trial and he would not get a fair trial, but he did. Well, I shouldn't call it fair. They certainly tried to lock this kid up. Creepy stuff. But we were right. The media tried claiming we were far-right fringe nonsense garbage. And you know what I said? I said the Kyle Rittenhouse case made me realize I got to vote for Donald Trump because these people are unscrupulous. These people have no morals, no principles, and they will lie to get whatever power they want. And Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself. It was a tragic situation. I'm not happy about it, but I don't see how locking up a kid defending himself was serving justice. And for that, seeing how the media lied left and right, I said, we need a strong personality like Donald Trump and this movement to reject this outright. They say, quote, I've been hired to head the effort to determine whom to sue, when to sue, where to sue, Todd McMurtry, who now represents Rittenhouse, told Fox News Digital in a phone interview this morning. We're going to look at everything that's been said, determine which of those comments are legally actionable, and proceed from there. Rittenhouse was charged with 2 counts of homicide, 1 count of attempted homicide, and other charges after fatally shooting 2 men. We know the story of Kyle Rittenhouse. He was ultimately acquitted of all charges in November of last year after testifying he acted in self-defense. A bold move, mind you. We didn't expect him to testify in his own defense, but he did. Though the legal process for potential defamation cases is just beginning, McMurtry singled out Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook for a factually false designation on the platform that listed the Kenosha shootings as a mass murder incident. The designation resulted in Rittenhouse's social media accounts being pulled down and restricting positive comments about the teenager. This is the game they play. They take away your ability to tell the truth so that only the lies persist. That's what Facebook was doing because Mark Zuckerberg is a bad person. Here's how it happens. Lies are presented in the mainstream media about Kyle Rittenhouse. People like me challenge those lies and call them out based on actual evidence and witness testimony. We brought on, I think, 8 different witnesses to Timcast IRL and who told us what happened. So Facebook lies and says it was a mass murder incident, so you're not allowed to say positive things about it. Anybody who told the truth, you get pulled off the platform. Then regular people only see the lies. They claimed Kyle Rittenhouse shot black people. That was not true. They claimed he crossed state lines with a weapon. That's not true. They claim his mother drove him there. That's not true. They were all lies. And social media companies propped those lies up. Quote, let's just use for an example what Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg said about Rittenhouse. They said he was involved in a mass murder incident. This was not a mass murder incident. It was clearly factually false. To call somebody a mass murderer is seriously defamatory. And then to use the power of social media to basically censor any views that would take opposition to that mass murder statement is a serious effort to destroy his character. And it was seriously mistaken and seriously defamatory. And I insist, Kyle Rittenhouse was not a public figure. He was not participating in public conversations. He was not a politician. He was not a celebrity. He was a regular local in Kenosha. When all of these things were said of him, he did not speak a word. Now, they'll try to claim he's a public figure. I don't think it's going to work. I think the moment Rittenhouse fires off these lawsuits, it will be biblical. Outrage erupted after Facebook and Instagram designated the shooting during the Kenosha Riot a mass murder incident before a trial or verdict. With Wall Street Journal's editorial board arguing in 2020 that such a designation hurt the teenagers shot at due process and called the move an alarming resort to censorship. Meta, Facebook's parent company, ultimately reinstated Rittenhouse's social media accounts after his acquittal last year and lifted other restrictions, which, oh boy, admission of fault or admission that they were wrong. McMurtry added that Zuckerberg is certainly going to be at the top of our list when examining what potentially false statements are legally actionable because he has an outsized voice. Facebook has an outsized voice. They can do a lot of damage, as compared to somebody maybe who has a small blog with 100 subscribers. We're going to look at everything that we have access to, and that's been published, and decide which ones are actionable, he added. Facebook did not immediately respond to Fox News' digital request for comment on the matter. McMurtry represented Nicholas Sandmann after the media lambasted him over a confrontation at the 2019 March for Life in D.C., resulting in numerous settlements with media companies such as NBC Universal, CNN, and the Washington Post. Oh, you love to see it. Kyle Rittenhouse says Johnny Depp's win over Amber Heard is fueling him to get moving on suing the media for defamation. Come on, buddy. I don't want to wait all day. Now, they've got to get their ducks in a row and make sure they've got the right arguments as they move forward, but I just can't wait to see it. Accountability, please. Over at the Washington Examiner, Kyle Rittenhouse defends Second Amendment following string of mass shootings. Is that it? Following a string of mass shootings? No, he said, I am alive today because I was able to protect myself. It is not a stretch to say Kyle Rittenhouse may not be alive today if he was not armed on that fateful night. The people who were there threatened to kill him. Would they have? I don't know. I don't know what the percentage probability would have been for him to die, but it would have been possible and maybe decently probable. There was a man in Portland who was walking down the street when some Antifa guy with a Black Lives Matter tattoo on his neck put 2 bullets in his chest and killed him. Kyle Rittenhouse was threatened with death and fled, and the man chased after him. And when Kyle Rittenhouse heard a gunshot go off behind him, he turned. This man reached for his gun, almost grabbing it, I believe brushing against it, trying to grab it. And that's when Kyle fired in self-defense. It's tragic. I don't want anybody to lose their lives. But don't threaten people with death and then attack them. People have a right to defend themselves. And he's right. He's alive today because he was able to protect himself, because there was a man with a gun who fired around in the air. That bullets come down. We don't know where that one went. He ran and he got attacked again. And most of you know the story. The media lied about basically everything. Kyle Rittenhouse reveals how false narratives upended his life as lawyer preps defamation lawsuits. Quote, everywhere I go, I have to have security. I can't go to Walmart. I can't go to Target. I have to have somebody with me because there are people out there that want to hurt me because of the false narratives. I don't believe I'll have a fair shake at getting a job because a place may not want to hire me because they may have seen something that was written about me and they may have that false narrative in their head. It's incredible. He was not a public figure. I hope that Kyle wins every single lawsuit. I hope that he mops the floor with all of these people. They've launched tmap.org, the media accountability project where you can click here to support Kyle. Now, you may want good journalism. Well, I highly recommend you go to timcast.com and become a member and support our work. But maybe you want accountability now. If you can't support our work and you would prefer to support Kyle in his lawsuits, you can go to teammap.org. You can support him directly. I actually think support us both if you can. If you can't, support whatever you think is the most important. And I got to be honest, I think one of the most important things we need is a culture shift and accountability for these media organizations. They need a reckoning. They need to be told you can't lie anymore. Now, I'm doing my part. You're doing your part. Kyle Rittenhouse is doing his. And I think Kyle Rittenhouse's actions, the Media Accountability Project, may be some of the most impactful and most important we will see in a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring you to the Wikipedia page for the Daily Beast. You may be wondering, Tim, why are you showing me the Daily Beast? Well, I mentioned it. They used to be considered real news, prestigious, and now they're fake news. But the reason the Daily Beast is so relevant here is that they've been labeled fake news because they lied about Kyle Rittenhouse. The Wikipedia entry for the Daily Beast says, let me show you this. The Washington Post media critic Eric Wemple stated in 2018 that pound for pound, the Daily Beast is an impressive operation. As I see it, they do a few things well. They bang the phones. They don't always follow the same story everyone else is doing. And they are fast. Really? According to Shachtman, the Daily Beast social media policy for journalists are three main rules. You're reporters, not cheerleaders. So don't be an open partisan. Avoid hate speech. And posts that could offend a group. And don't get your fellow reporters in trouble. It's funny. They lied about Kyle Rittenhouse. Did that not offend a group? Yeah, they're full of it. They're liars. What's this? When you go to the Daily Beast and you use NewsGuard, you click this and we can see, proceed with caution. This website fails to adhere to several basic journalistic standards. Oh my. Now, how could this be? Such a prestigious entity and organization. The Daily Beast NewsGuard rating. A news and opinion website that focuses on politics and popular culture. The site regularly breaks news and produces impactful reporting, although it has published some false and misleading claims. They give it 3 big strikes. They are not responsible in their gathering and presentation of information. They do not regularly clarify errors, and they don't handle the difference between news and opinion responsibly. Oh, wow. Here's what's really fascinating. They go on to mention in their content, the assessment, a bunch of stories about Kyle Rittenhouse. In their credibility section, they say, although Daily Beast content is often accurate and well-sourced, the website also published false and misleading claims, including multiple articles about Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha. They say, November 10th, 2021. They said, Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines with a weapon. Kyle Rittenhouse, blah, blah, blah. There's no evidence. That's true. The funny thing is, when I saw that Daily Beast was downranked, I was like, whoa, how is this the case? NewsGuard downranking mainstream corporate press? That's shocking. And then I saw in their nutrition label breakdown all of this stuff about Kyle Rittenhouse. The Daily Beast was so hell-bent on lying about this young man that they are now fake news. They were fake news when they lied, but now you get the rating, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what this means? Timcast will no longer be using the Daily Beast due to their consistent lies. Now, just because the Daily Beast certifies organizations does not mean they're credible. You know, they certify a lot of organizations that lie a lot, like CNN. But for the time being, we will not be using the Daily Beast. There's few exceptions to our rule on using NewsGuard. One is Project Veritas, and that's because whatever the NewsGuard says about Project Veritas, when they publish a video I can see happening and their claims are that a person said a thing and they did say the thing, well, then we can accept that. When the Daily Beast doesn't fact check anything, that's totally different. But of course, we have used Daily Beast because we don't exclusively deny just because they're downranked. We just try to avoid it. Now, I use CNN, the New York Times, and other outlets, but even they publish fake news. It really does come down to we do fact check the stories. NewsGuard isn't the end all be all. Over at Fox News, Johnny Depp verdict. Legal experts believe Washington Post could be held liable too, but the case would be tricky. Washington Post published Amber Heard op-ed that was ruled defamatory against Johnny Depp. They say, quote, I absolutely believe the Washington Post should be held accountable as well in this case. A jury just decided that all three of the statements in the Washington Post op-ed were deemed defamatory. Criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool told Fox News Digital. On top of that, they also believe that Amber Heard acted in a punitive way with falsifying these stories, so it's the duty of the newspaper and other media outlets to vet or filter information before they publish to the world and potentially damage the reputation of somebody irreparably. The Washington Post is not off the hook. Johnny, boy. Sue them, please. Let them know you can't do it. You can't lie. Claypool felt Depp's team should bring legal action against the newspaper owned by billionaire Jeff Bezos to set a precedent of similar cases going forward. Quote, you have got to do your due diligence before posting that article. You can't simply have somebody walk into your office and say, hey, I'm accusing Johnny Depp of all these bad things before going out and doing due diligence. I think it's incumbent upon Johnny Depp's team to bring a legal action against the Washington Post to set a precedent in the future that all media outlets need to be extra careful before they publish to the world allegations of domestic violence. Absolutely. Claypool believes the jury ruling in favor of Depp would make a case against the Post easier because the issues have already been litigated. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you to our good friend, Glenn Greenwald. Now, it's funny because I said good friend of Ethan Klein on IRL, and everyone's like, what do you mean, Tim, good friend? It's a joke. Everyone I reference is a good friend, good or bad. That's the joke. Glenn Greenwald, I actually do like. I've criticized him heavily in the past, but I think he's done really good work recently, so you take it, for what it is. Glenn Greenwald tweets, how many times does the same New York Times Washington Post reporter have to be caught lying before her frightened colleagues cease defending her or remain silent? Again, media employees love lamenting that they lost the trust of the public, but never look in the mirror to ask why it happened. In this tweet from Damon Toel, he says, both people mentioned in the same paragraph allege that Taylor Lorenz lied about ever attempting to contact them for comment. We have legal bites saying, this says I didn't respond to requests for comment. I know I've gotten a lot of emails over the past 2 months, but I've just double checked for your name, Taylor Lorenz, and I see no email from you. Also, I didn't suddenly pivot. I started covering this before the trial began. Here we have a tweet from that umbrella guy who says the Washington Post lied and did not contact me before including me in their story on Johnny Depp. I noted this on Twitter today at 8:31 p.m. At 9:44, they decided to contact me after I noted this publicly. Taylor Lorenz, who is a liar, said, I wrote about how the Depp Heard trial offered a glimpse into our future media ecosystem, where content creators serve as the personalities breaking news to an increasing number of viewers. Taylor Lorenz, who is a liar and a simple content creator and influencer, who is not a journalist because she just lies, is trying to make the claim that in the future, this is what people will do. They'll just pivot to make money. The media is full of it. It is trash. And we can only hope that change will happen when people like Kyle Rittenhouse sue. And perhaps Johnny Depp will as well. This is an article from Taylor Lorenz in the Washington Post. The Washington Post is potentially liable for publishing the defamation. Taylor Lorenz has a major conflict of interest in publishing these lies. I'm sick of it. I am sick. You know what? I look over to James O'Keefe and Project Veritas. And they say that he's conservative and he's right-wing and all that. And I'm like, well, I mean, dude, like James O'Keefe, I believe is a conservative. He speaks at CPAC. But he targets establishment institutions. So I don't care if he's conservative, liberal, or otherwise. If a liberal targets conservative institutions and exposes malfeasance, good for them. I don't care. Tell the truth. You know what I have in common with James O'Keefe? We both look at the media and how they lie about everything. I'm just so sick of it. I'm not a conservative. I've never been a conservative. You know what really grinds my gears? People who try to manipulate me. That's really it. Now, I'm not saying I can't be manipulated. Everybody can be. If you weren't able to manipulate people, Coca-Cola would not be buying advertisements. Advertisements work. And to be completely honest, I buy way too much stuff off Instagram. I'm like scrolling Instagram on the toilet and I see like a dog umbrella backpack or something. And I'm like, I got to buy this. I'm like, they're like, you don't even have a dog. I don't know. It just looks cool. Yeah, because I see ads and I'm like, okay. But you know what? When the advertisement tells me something legitimately and then I want it, that's fine. You know what I really hate? Those video game ads where it's like, can you save the princess? And there's like, you got to move the swords around or something. And then you download it and the game's totally different. And I'm like, delete, report, screw you guys. This is what the media does. They lie to you to trick you into doing things. Well, that just pisses me off. So when I see a conservative and I walk over and I go, howdy there, conservative. What do you think about abortion? And they say, here are my thoughts and opinions. And I go, wow, I disagree on a lot of that, but I see where you're coming from. Thanks for having a conversation. I then turn on CNN or open up the Washington Post and they fabricate or publish these lies. And then I'm like, hey, that's not what they actually believe. Why are they lying to me? They're trying to make me hate this person. I disagree with them, but I understand their point of view. That's what I can't stand. They want us just at each other's throats. This guy, Damon, says something you never want to see when you open your inbox, and it says, Taylor Lorenz to me, hi there. Taylor Lorenz. I used to defend her. I defended her several times because of all the journalists. She's trending right now, by the way, because there were some instances where I was smeared, and I reached out to her and said, hey, here's some information. This is not true, and I dispute this. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to back off. She even removed tweets about me when I messaged her and said, here's proof it's not true. And she went, sorry about that. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But then she lied about doxing libs of TikTok. It seems like power corrupts and absolute power tends to corrupt absolutely. So this is where we are. There are some changes coming. Take a look at this. CNN cutting back on overhyping everything as breaking news. The times, they are a-changin'. CNN's new boss, Chris Licht, says that beginning today, CNN has added a breaking news guideline to its style book, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. But that shows us the idea of what is or isn't breaking news is changing. And that's good. It's just one step. CNN everything was breaking news. And you're like, calm down, man. But this guy, Chris Licht, the people who now own CNN have said they want to purge it of its garbage opinion format. Bravo. Do it. The most trusted name in news, they say. No, CNN is the most trusted name in Orange Man bad. If I'm ever frustrated with Trump, I know I can just turn on CNN and they're going to be like, the Orange Man is bad, and I'll tell you why. And it's like, weren't you that guy who got caught cranking it on Zoom? I was, but Orange Man is bad. Okay, you're hired again. I just don't care for it. If CNN goes back to reporting news, I'll turn it back on. But I don't know. I think their reputation is so trashed. I don't know if it can be salvaged. Fox News is a better reputation than CNN at this point. What I want to see is a society where people are driven by facts, have real conversations, vote based on true information to the best of our abilities in good faith. And I think the tides are turning. I think we are winning the culture war. I think the woke cult is freaking out, is losing its mind, and I think we're going to win this one. It doesn't mean they'll give up. And it does mean that you have to keep pushing and fighting back. It means you have to share these stories. It means that you have to defend Kyle Rittenhouse. It means that those of you who are at work and you hear some leftist or liberal person come and go, that murderer Kyle Rittenhouse is filing a lawsuit now, you can't just sit there and go, you got to go, he didn't murder anybody. He was defending himself, and he should sue because they lied about him, and I'll prove it. Then you pull up the NewsGuard rating on the Daily Beast and show them every single paragraph where it says they lied, they lied, they lied, they lied. It's up to all of us to stand up and just say no. Too many people don't do it. Too many people don't, but I know a lot of you do. And I know it might not be easy for a lot of people, but you got to just stand up and just say it's not true. And you don't got to be a dick about it. That's the important thing. When someone comes up and they say that, be like, whoa, hey, like, what do you mean? Like, I don't think that's true. I mean, like, let me see if I can find this. And then just be calm and be like, here you go, read this. And when they're like, what is this not true? Be like, yo, this is NewsGuard. It is a corporate press certification agency. Like, they give CNN a good rating. They give The New York Times, a good rating. They're saying this stuff's not true. If you don't want to believe it, I don't know what to tell you, man. If you want to just choose to believe whatever you want to believe, then maybe, you believe conspiracy theories and fake news. Me, I trust the sources. And NewsGuard says it was fake news, so in the end of all of this, I hope the outcome is Kyle Rittenhouse sitting atop a penthouse in a skyscraper with an infinity pool, sipping on a mimosa, as his butler walks up and says, Sir Kyle, would you like another? And he's like, thank you, Jeeves. And then Jeeves walks away and brings him his breakfast on a silver platter. I hope Kyle takes them for all they're worth and lives like a king for the rest of his life. This is the story of a young man who was scared for his community, who rendered aid to protesters, who tried to put out fires, and they threatened his life. He fled, he defended himself, and these people, the media and the activists, did everything in their power to crush him. But thanks to you, thanks to those who spoke up in his defense, and thanks to, thank heavens, the judge and the legal system, he's a free man. Hopefully, within a year or two, we will be thanking the legal system for bringing accountability to those who lied and giving something back to this young man who's had his life dragged through the coals, who spent 2 months in jail. He deserves it. The full brunt of the establishment sought to crush this young man, and he won. I want to see him win again. The story of David and Goliath. I want to see the juggernauts recoil in fear for every lie they published and refused to correct. So, if you want to support him, it's tmap.org, the Media Accountability Project. And I think he deserves it. I hope Johnny Depp goes after the Washington Post, because he's certainly someone of means who has the ability to do so. We'll see. I'm optimistic. I think Kyle Rittenhouse is going to win. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.